This video is just going to be a really short thing, but it was just something that was, passed through my mind earlier today. Um, how do I put this? So, I was thinking about a scene that I saw in the movie The Time Machine a while back, and the guy was sitting there and he was watching this little, he was looking in the window of some clothing store as he was flipping forward in time, like, decades and centuries. And one thing he noticed was, there were the three mannequins set up there, and they had, I started out with like really long dresses, like down pretty much to the floor. And then the further time went on, the higher and higher and higher and higher up the dresses' hems went and everything like that, right? And the skimpier the clothes got. And it occurred to me, yeah, that's pretty much, what you've had for from the past to the modern day. But if you take that forward, because that's a continuing trend, from the past to for, hundreds of years, that is a continuing trend, you know. And, your average person would wear, like several different layers. You would have your, like even your average man would have, he would have the shirt, and then he would have the little vest, and then he would have the jacket, and that would, layers and layers and layers. And now you have your average guy has the shirt, and that's it, and maybe a hat or something, maybe not even that. But my point is, like, people wear less, more and more. It becomes less and less and less as time goes on. But if you carry that forward to its logical conclusion in the future, then you have people wearing nothing, like all the time. A gradual progression to just total nudism, where, I mean, not like total, there's always going to be people who, sticklers and holdouts, and people are just like, nah, that's a little bit too far for me and everything like that. But the point is, there's a general trend leading in that direction, because you look at the past, what things used to be, you look at how things have changed, and then you look at now, and then you use that and you use the models of the past to model the future. There is nothing new under the sun. What you see in the past, the trends will tend to continue. Well, the trends show less and less and less clothing. So, logically, carry that forward into the future. People are going to be wearing less and less and less. Well, if it gets too much less, then people just won't be wearing anything. Do you really think that's not going to cause any kinds of societal problems? I mean, honestly, can no one see this? And it's the same thing. People call this the slippery slope argument. They can call it whatever they want. And they can blah, 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 blah. I can already hear all the atheist arguments. I used to make them myself, yes. But the fact of the matter is, the slippery slope, which you call a logical fallacy, is a simple fact of life. I mean, you can see it. Very good example. They had the gay marriage thing, right? Everybody was pushing gay rights, blah blah blah, the whole deal. That was back when I was an atheist. I wasn't able to vote, but if I had been, I probably would have voted freaking gay marriage and everything, etc., etc. But it was after that happened, that was when I really saw the first main piece of evidence that I needed to understand just what was happening. Because right after that, what did we start seeing right after that? Then there was the whole transgender thing going on, right? That started coming out, and now it's freaking everywhere, and blah 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 blah. And now that the transgender thing is starting to, it's starting to make a lot of ground and stuff like that. Now you're hearing just the little bits, right? Little fringe type things. They're testing the waters with it, but they're putting it out there. It's out there in little ways. Now they have like the pedophilia acceptance and all this stuff. It's out there in just like little bitty ways. And they're gradually getting you ready for it. And I can't help but think of a quote that I saw. Those who play with the devil's toys will be drawn by degrees to wield his sword. Call it a slippery slope fallacy if you want, but it keeps happening. you know, it just keeps going further and further down the slippery slope. And you always say, oh, it's just one more step, and it's just one more step. Well, here's the thing. It's just one more step, and just one more step, and it's always just one more step, because once you've taken one step, it just gets so much easier to take another, and another, and another, because every single one of them are just one step, but when you add them all up together, they add up to like 1,000 steps. And then every time you're thinking, oh, it's just one step. It's just one step. I mean, ask an alcoholic that. It's just one more drink. It's just one more snort of Coke. It's just one more blunt. It's just one more bowl. You know? It's all just one more. But when you... it's just one more cigarette, right? How could it hurt you? It's just one more. But the more you take it, it's just gonna get so much easier. You can't stop if you just like, no, it's just one more. Because it's not just one more. It's 100 more. It's 1,000 more. It's a constant step, miles down the road, walking the broad path that leads to destruction. Because it's so easy to just try everything. Just accept everything. Just go with everything. It's all fine. It all doesn't freaking matter. Blah, blah, blah. But the problem is it does matter. I know people, if there are anyone who actually watches this video, because I doubt there's actually going to be very many who do, but if there are anyone who actually watches this video through to this point, they're probably going to hate this part, but the fact of the matter is, everyone gets rather pissed about the idea of, like, say some woman gets raped, and it's like, hey, what was she wearing? Well, let me put it to you this way. If someone's walking around naked in the middle of freaking Times Square, and then they got raped, would that be a legitimate question then? Yes, still it's a terrible thing what would have happened to them. But you can't just do that and not expect some kind of a reaction. No man is an island. The world, what's out there, is not in your control. All you can control is yourself. Are you going to succumb to all of the insanity and all of the madness and just accept it all and just go with it? Because the more you do, you are casting off your armor. You are casting off that which protects you. I mean, if a man lives in a crime-filled neighborhood and he does not lock his house, is he really going to be surprised? Like, if he leaves the freaking door open all the time and the windows open, and there have been, like, people have been robbed all over the place. This is a crime-filled neighborhood. Is he really going to be surprised when the freaking whole house just gets cleaned out while he's out at work? I mean, yeah, it may sound wrong and all and blah, 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 but the thing of it is, it's personal responsibility. And that seems to be in short supply these days. Anyway, I don't know, I have to go to bed. I ran out of steam. Let me know what you thought of this video in the comments below. Like, subscribe, the whole shebang. And I'll be posting other videos later on. Peace out.